let me bring up, without further ado, the guy who's on Birds 365 with the, I'll tell you, with the one and only John McMullen. Big C! Zander Krause joins us now here.
What's going on, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, dude? What about the old geezer signing with the Steelers there, man? How you feel about that move?
I don't know. I'm not buying into that. I'm not feeding into that. Let's see. I do think they became a better football team.
Yeah.
And the one chance they have at it working is what? They got Mike Tomlin, who's actually a real football coach and a real leader of men and a real alpha dude who's not going to let Aaron Rodgers derail his season like he hasn't let anybody do it in 15 years. So I think that's the one advantage they have this time around. But, yeah, that doesn't really excite me too much if you're Pittsburgh. If you're DK Metcalf, you're happy. You'll probably get the ball a little bit more than you would have with Mason Rudolph.
Yeah. All right. So what do you make? I put this together here, and I used my hurricane map.
What is this fake news list you're talking about?
What do you mean fake news list? This is a list that –
Oh, I got it. Don't worry. I'll pull it up on the screen.
Pull it up there, man. Look,
You know what it is, right? You're aware of what this is, correct?
Yeah, it's fantasy football.
It's fantasy football.
Guys.
Wait a second. We got a fantasy draft. You're telling me you're going to take Nico Collins over A.J. Brown. You're going to take Ladd McConkey.
That's not my point. My point is that those are targets that are going to go to these players.
Well, that's
and these are numbers that are going to get these guys paid. Now, I'll ask you the question here. I mean, you mean to tell me, like, when you look at the highest paid guys and you look at this list here, okay, CeeDee Lamb is making $40 million annually. Why? Is he more accomplished than AJ? No. He got paid on targets and numbers. Did he not?
Well, right? He's a Dallas Cowboy. They waited till the last second to pay him, and then they paid him, and they paid him top market money.
Okay, so Jamar Chase is making $38 million. They didn't even make the playoffs. He got a raise. How did he get paid? Numbers, targets.
You're the statistician. This has been proven on the channel time and time again.
No,
this is your nickname on the channel. It's the statistician.
It's paycheck guy.
No, it's statistician.
That's how they get. How did CeeDee Lamb get paid then? $40 million.
AJ Brown's a top 5 paid receiver in the league.
Okay, like I said, and warranted. How are these other?
AJ Brown makes more than Malik Neighbors, Nico Collins, Ladd McConkey, Drake London, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rashee Rice, Puka, Devonta Adams, Brian Thomas, Emeka Ibuka, T. Higgins, Courtland Sutton, Jackson, and Tet McMillan. He makes more than everybody.
How are those other guys in the room with him, though, when they don't have any accomplishments at all?
Because why is Malik Neighbors on the list? Because there's nobody else on his football team to throw the ball to.
Because he makes catches and he gets targets and he gets numbers.
No. He's in New York. He's in New York. So he gets every target because they don't have Saquon and Devonta and Goddard. They have shit all over the place.
You're missing the point. You're totally missing it.
No, I'm not.
They're not getting paid on wins.
Dude, AJ's paid. What are you talking about?
I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying how are these other fuckers getting paid and being paid when it's about targets? Right. I made the comment. AJ's been to 2 NFC title games and won. He's won a Super Bowl. How the fuck did a guy like Jamar Chase, who right now is making $40.3 million bucks, how's Justin Jefferson getting $35 million annually a year? It ain't wins.
All right, that's a different pay scale. Say AJ's paid. Who cares? We got the paid receiver and we got the Super Bowl. We're double dipping out here, Billy.
Okay. So hey folks, do you really believe that AJ Brown's going to go into this season sitting there saying that let's go with the same approach in 2025 with lesser numbers and lesser targets? He was 47th in targets. How do you think that's going to roll?
I think that number will go up this year. What was he in 22 and 23? I think he did have a little bit more. I know he had over 100 catches in 22.
Yeah, in 23, he had enormous numbers, and you had higher volume of turnovers because you went to him more. when you ran the ball, which is the formula. Like,
what are you speculating right now? That AJ's going to throw a tantrum this year?
No, I'm asking you that. You say it all the time. I want my wide receiver to want the ball.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to want the ball. Everybody saw that last year. On their way to a Super Bowl, he still wanted the ball. That's perfectly fine. He's already paid. He's gotten damn near 4,000 yards in 3 seasons here in Philly. He's been an all-pro back-to-back seasons. What more does the dude want? I don't understand what you're saying. If you say you're the money guy, well, he's got the money.
I'll tell you exactly
if you're the
what I'm
stat
saying.
guy. He's got 4,000 yards in 3
wide
seasons.
receiver in pro football wants that offense to go through them. That's what I'm saying. We all know they're divas. We all know they want touches. We all know you say it. Every wide receiver, I want to get the ball. So you're telling me that this coming season, you think they're going to increase and go away from the plan that they had a year ago that was 1,000% successful by saying, AJ, we're going to up the volume of throws because why?
Well, because it might be dictated by other teams' defenses. There are other people on the field. It's not just do what you want.
Well, last year, nobody could stop what they did.
Well, and that's why AJ didn't get the ball. I think anyone is smart enough to see that, including AJ himself. That's why he was happy with the Super Bowl win and why he, shut up once they got to that point.
If they increase the volume, get away from Barkley and go to trying to, I think you give.
Yeah, but don't you think that the opposing defenses will have some level of dictation on what they do here?
No, because you're not playing against a bunch of good run defensive football teams. 12 of the teams that you are playing are 16 or worse. You're not playing against a bunch of teams this year.
Or last year. Let's see what they are this year.
That's fair. That's fair. They could have improved that. I mean, I know that the Rams went out and got that kid, put him in the middle. I know that there were look at what Minnesota did.
Babs is a serial. She is a lie spreader. Zander thinks Neighbors. Where did I say Neighbors sucks? Babs, tell me you'd take Neighbors over AJ Brown. Tell me.
Never.
Come on, Babs. Tell me it, Babs.
Never.
And I will immediately know that you are an airhead.
Hey, but Barb,
Neighbors over AJ Brown.
But Barb, I
Nobody
guarantee
in their right
you,
mind would take that. I could ask 100 New York Giants fans, 90 of them would pick AJ Brown. Come on,
but Barb,
man.
Here's the case, Barb. In 2 years, that guy's going to make $42 million.
And so AJ might be at that point
and
too.
Guess what? Okay, well, wait a minute. Him not doing anything. This guy will be on a 4-win team making 40. I mean, that's what AJ's on a team that's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years.
AJ Brown became the highest paid receiver 1 offseason ago. 1 offseason. Sileo is acting like this dude hasn't been paid in 4 years and we're in a contract dispute. Wait, have you seen what's happening to your beloved Washington Commanders? Have you seen, Sileo? What's happening to your beloved Tommy?
I'm not talking about AJ. He's fucking making that. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about the other stiffs who've done shit that are getting paid. You make it sound like if you go to a Super Bowl and you win, you're going to make all this money. Fuck, you could be on a 4-win team and make money. What? Yeah. Hey, last year, get this.
So AJ's on a 14-win team.
What did CD's Cowboys do last year? He got paid $40 million doing what? Catching footballs from Cooper Rush? That's what he got $40 million for.
So
catching footballs.
So our receiver got the money, got the yards, and got the bling. And he's an all-pro.
And now he's going to
take winning.
And now he'll take lesser targets and lesser numbers because you know why? That's not what Philly does. They run the ball, baby. Get used to it, bitch. You're back in Tennessee walking.
1,400 yards this year for AJ.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, 1,400 yards. That means 10 turnovers for Hurts then.
Bullshit. He had 1,000 last year and he missed 3 games.
Last time he threw for 500 yards, he had 15 picks. Let's see him do it again.
He missed 3 games last year.
He had 2 years ago when he had.
What about 22? He had 1,500 yards.
Last year he had 300 attempts. This guy was the Michigan quarterback that won the national title. He had 381 attempts.
The great Big Sills.
How you doing, baby?
Wait a second. In all honesty, did you see the catastrophic collapse that's incoming in Washington with the communists? Now Terry McLaurin is crying because he wants his money.
Let me ask you this though: when you watch the Ricky shut that dude down last year, I mean, are you paying that guy $40 million?
Who, Terry?
Yeah.
No.
Me neither.
He's a wide receiver 2. And in Philly, he's a wide receiver 3.
You think Terry McLaurin? You think I'm going to disagree with that. I don't think.
You take Devonta Smith.
I don't think
Terry.
better.
Don't lie to yourself to not. You would take
nobody
Devonta.
on the planet outside of Philly would take Devonta over Terry.
Devonta Smith over Terry.
Let's take a look at this. Here. Let's see what people say here.
Some of the catches I've seen Devonta Smith make, Terry couldn't dream of making.
Wide receivers in the National Football League. Let me just take a look at that here.
Oh my God.
2024. Let's see. Devonta's probably like the 15th best receiver in pro football. Let's take a look at Pro Football Focus, who they got here.
Stick with Devonta Smith. Sorry.
All right. I think McLaurin's better.
I don't. I don't even think it's honestly close.
Oh, it is close. Okay.
I don't think it's close. I really don't. I don't think Terry McLaurin is.
What does he do better than Terry McLaurin?
Are you kidding me? He runs routes better. He catches the ball on the sidelines better. He's got better spatial awareness. He's more physical in the run game. Devonta Smith has better hands. He does everything better than Terry McLaurin. Well, here's the better question. What does Terry McLaurin do better than Devonta?
Okay. He's a number one. He's the number one target on the team. And
that's not talent.
Dude. At the end of the day, when you watch Terry McLaurin's a better player.
I disagree
too. It's all good. Let's see here.
Close.
I don't either, actually.
Yes, you do. You just want to. You don't want to lose. You're Humpty Dumpty. You don't want to be pushed off the wall.
Let's see what Pro Football Focus. They got AJ Brown number 1. They got Jefferson 2. They got Chase number 3. I'm not saying Brown 4. They got Puka Nacua 5. They got CD 6. They got Nico Collins 7. Mike Evans 9. Terry McLaurin 10. Drake London 11. Malik Neighbors 12.
Oh, don't tell me.
Garrett Wilson 13. T. Higgins 14. Brian Thomas Jacksonville 15. Devontae Adams 16. They got here he is. Devonta Smith 17th. That's what I thought he was, somewhere around there.
No,
that's where he is.
I'm taking him over Terry all day, twice on Sunday.
All right. I got you, man. I know you got
so, I want you to do one thing for me. I don't ask you to do much outside of your 2 to 6. I want you to do one thing for me. I want you to go on YouTube, all right, where we host your show. Go in the search bar and type in Devonta Smith career highlights and watch the way he separates, catches the ball, toe taps, does everything you want a receiver to do.
Guy's not on the field.
If he was in Joe Burrow's offense, they wouldn't even throw the ball to T. Higgins.
Oh my God! If Terry McLaurin was in Cincinnati, he'd have 1,600 yards.
What do you mean? He had Jaden Daniels last year, who you proclaim as the best quarterback in the
NFC title game with him here. Hey, I'll say this to you. Okay, when I see Devonta Smith sometimes on the field and he's not there, I don't notice him. When AJ's not on the field, I notice it. Last year when you guys were winning football games and Smith was out, I didn't even notice he was on the field.
The guy had
how can a guy that's such a great player have goose eggs in games?
I don't know. How do you play? I mean, he played how many games last year did Terry play?
I don't know.
All right, because he had 1,000. He had all 17 games, and he had 117 targets, and he had 1,096 yards. The guy was the number 1 with a bunch of stiffs around him, and still couldn't outproduce AJ, who missed.
Are you trying to suggest that the Washington Commanders have the same talent level of the Philadelphia Eagles?
Well, no, you are, because I asked you what makes Terry better, and you said he's the number 1.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Here's a little assignment for you now.
Okay, let's hear it.
Anybody you ever ask if you think Devonta Smith's a better player than Terry McLaurin. See what they say. I'll be curious to know.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I got you there. All right.
What? I might post that on my Twitter tonight. We'll make a little poll and see what people vote on. All right, let's see what they do.
Do that. All right. Is there a football team in the NFC that you think can challenge the Philadelphia Eagles? Is there a team that you would go like this, Zander? I'm not saying beat them. I'm saying, who would you put in that conversation where you would go, that team right there is the one team that I think could kind of make some hayways. Again, injuries, player development. We don't know a lot of questions on where some of these players are. Some of them are going to go and play really well. I heard even Jeff Kerr say, If you think that the Bakuba kid is going to replace C.J. Gardner with that talent, you're nuts. I heard that out of his face. And I think the same thing with Slay on the pivot. So we don't know. They may, though, because we saw Cooper last year and we also saw Q last year. They may, Zander. Is there one team in the NFC that you would go, that's a team that could be a threat to us?
I think the Rams.
The Rams.
I think there's a couple. I don't think it's just one, but I think the Rams had the best shot. They got better. They lost basically nobody. They've added to their defense more. They built actually more to stop the Philadelphia Eagles style of football by adding a nose tackle and Poona Ford. And then they added, I think Devonta Adams is a significant upgrade over what Cooper Kupp was. I still think Matthew Stafford's one of the best quarterbacks in the game of football. Certainly is one of the best arms in the game of football, if not the best arm in the game of football right now. I think they're the best team. The Lions are right there, but here's my question. Aren't you kind of waiting to see? You lose your center, you lose your offensive coordinator, you lose your defensive coordinator. Like, this is the first time, I think, in Dan Campbell's great start to his career as a coach, they're turning Detroit around where it's like, all right, let's see what you're made of now. All right, you lost your coordinators, you got your Hall of Fame center just hung up the cleats. Like, how do you manage? Because the Philadelphia Eagles went to the Super Bowl and had the best O-line in football after their Hall of Fame center retired. I don't think that's happening in Detroit. All right. So I got questions there. And then when it comes to the Washington, I mean, we started this segment talking about the geriatric home with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, no wonder they can't pay Terry McLaurin. They signed a bunch of 30-year-olds, all this big-ass money. I think they take a step back and they go from 12 wins to 10 or 11 this year, the Commanders. And
well, that may be anyway. That may be anyway, though, Zander, because they're playing a tougher schedule too.
Right, and I do think they're going to have an issue with these older guys. But outside of that, I don't really see somebody that really, like, how every year there's good teams and there's teams that could be at the top of your conference, but every year there's 4 to 6 Super Bowl contenders. Yeah. Last year, it was the Eagles, the Lions, the Commanders became one late in the year. It was the Bills, it was the Ravens, it was the Chiefs. That was it last year. This year in the AFC, I think it's going to be a lot of the same. I think it's going to be the Bills. I think the Ravens, they might be my pick to go to the Super Bowl this year because I don't think the Chiefs are going to be there as a hurdle. That's really it over in the AFC side, I'd say right now. And then I got the Eagles. I think the Rams are legitimate. I don't really know who else.
I can't. I'm with you. I think it's here's my take. I mean, you lost 2 dudes in the O-line that many people considered in the room, which I don't. I don't think the Lions. I like Penei Sewell, but is that Lions offensive line in the room with the Eagles, even without Becton? Fuck no. I don't see that. Now you lost 2 dudes, a guard and a center. Center, huge position. I would rank them this way, Zander. The left tackle and the center are the 2 most viable positions that you have to have. And you're stout at both. Left tackle and the right tackle and the center. Very rarely do you have shit like that. So you lose your coordinators. You've added and you got health back again in your running game. But, man, Detroit, I saw that they're 15%. The Eagles are 20%. I think I saw chances of winning the NFC this year. I would say I'm with you on the Rams. I think they improved their D-line. I think Verse is the real deal. Okay? I think Verse is the real deal. Yep. Now, have they closed that gap enough? Look, if the gap was this wide, Zander, maybe it's that wide. But it's still a gap. Here, do you agree with this? If you don't catch the Eagles this year, you're not catching them in 26 and 27. If you're going to beat them now because of the transition that they're doing in the secondary and with some of the younger players, do you not agree? If you don't get them now, you're not going to get them in the next 3 years because they're setting the roster up for the next 3 years.
I do think we're going to have some turnover on offense. So, like in the next couple of years. So we'll see. While I answer this question, I'm just going to toss the great Devonta Smith absolutely mossing the communist with an unbelievable catch. Great catch here by Smitty. Easily
on the field.
Easily a better receiver than Terry McLaurin. Really not close.
Like
one of your worst takes of the offseason. You said you were batting Shohei. Shohei missed a 7 out of 10. It's
nobody on the planet outside of Philadelphia Eagle fans would say that he's better than Terry McLaurin. Nobody does that. Nobody says that.
Wow. Look at that one. That's on the 49ers. Wow. Another big.
Every time that guy's not on the field, I don't notice.
From Devonta. This one was my favorite one there. Oh, the back of the end zone versus the Jags last year. That was unbelievable.
Look at those catches.
A toe tapper right there.
Yeah, look at the toe tapper.
Man.
What game was that? Or was that the game
can play football?
Was that the game coming off the goose egg game?
That guy can play some football.
Hey, I've seen like 3 or 4 goose egg games out of that.
Maybe. I'm still thinking about that catch versus Holy shit.
What a tremendous
ball. Oh, my goodness. Devonta Smith.
All right. Hey, how many years do you think Barkley does have?
3.
3 and 3 elite?
2 elite. 2 elite.
What kind of year do you think he has this year?
1,500 yards.
Do you think Hurts's numbers increase? Running the ball?
I think naturally.
Do you think Hurts's numbers increase passing or rushing? Or both?
I think Hurts's passing numbers increase. I think you're going to start to see him slowly dwindle a little bit, maybe 5-10% a year in running. Because if he gets to 30 years old and he relies too much on the legs, I think that's going to probably, and he knows this. He's smart enough to know this. I mean, it's going to hinder how long and how good, how long he can play the position at such a high level. So I think he knows and he really wants to take that next step, as I think he done. I mean, I think he was really good at this last year at the line of scrimmage, but wouldn't surprise me if those rushing attempts continue to go down. I mean, you talked about it yesterday. You saw him sliding all over the place, and somebody in the chat was like, "Oh, we didn't do that before he got paid." I'm like, get down. I don't really want to see Tanner McKee try and lead us to a Super Bowl. So I'm all good with that, but I do think so. I mean, I think they'll go up in the passing area this year. I think maybe a couple hundred more, maybe 3,500, somewhere in that range.
I heard you this morning talking about CJ, and you're not wrong. And I heard Jeff Kerr just blast them too right out of the gate. I heard it, and I'm not. You guys aren't wrong. This guy whining with a tissue, all that shit, and all that. However, do you believe the Eagles, in a way, now that you look at how they're looking at the secondary, do you think there's any way that they look back at that and regret moving off of him because of what you have at safety? And the fact that you now have to move around Cooper so much that now you've kind of created more of a hole between CJ and Slay. Now, I heard Jeff say it. The guys on the team are not going to replace the production. I get this guy's a bitch. He's totally that guy. But, Zander, do you think there's any way they regret moving off the guy just on his skill alone? And what they're playing with. How many safeties did they bring in the draft evaluation? That was the number 1 position, right? They were bringing safeties in left and right and looking for guys. Do you think they looked at it and said, look, I know the guy's a nightmare. We moved off him. But do you think after the fact they go, shit, man, we've created another hole here?
Yeah, I mean, I think so, obviously. But I do think, like you just said something a couple minutes ago about the long-term build of the Eagles setting their roster up. I do think that from that perspective, it was the right move. Now, could you argue they got worse for 25? Yeah, and I think you'd probably be right, to be honest. I mean, I like Makuba and all, but to say he's going to do what C.J. Gardner-Johnson did is probably a little unrealistic. It's not impossible, but it's unrealistic for him to do. So I think you got maybe a little worse in 25. But, I mean, look, dude. Guy's too big of a headache. I mean, that's the reality. Like, people got, somebody commented yesterday, how dare you say he's a headache, blah, blah, blah. He's a white guy. Would you say he's a headache? I'm like, what? Guy's a fucking clear headache. He's an emotional wreck. He's a white. I don't give a shit what he is. He's a headache. So I think he is a headache, and I don't think he's good enough to be as big of a headache as he is. I mean, look at it. Vic Fangio makes one 8-word comment, one 8-word sentence that comes out of his mouth, and Gardner Johnson's back throwing a hissy fit. You know, if you're D'Amico Ryans, who I think is a disciplined dude.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder how he's going to approach a guy like CJ who lets everything get in the way of his focus. You know, lets everything get in the way of his focus.
I think he's a Bama guy, right?
D'Amico is absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, he's a Bama guy. I think he coaches that team a lot like Tomlin, and I'll tell you how that is. Look at Tomlin had Antonio Brown, he had Le'Veon Bell, and he had George Pickens. And those guys were kind of headache guys. Mike Tomlin led him the riot act, and he's like, you fucking do it my way or you don't do it anyway.
Right.
Or you're going to do it somewhere else.
Yeah, but that's also an art. Like Tomlin was good at that, man. Tomlin kept some people on the rails, and you didn't even know about these people until they left there because he had such a good handle on the way his locker room worked. Yeah, I don't know. I think D'Amico kind of reminds me of a Mike Vrabel type, maybe a little softer.
Okay, like that guy, yeah.
Like a little softer Mike Vrabel, though, probably not as old school, but that mentality with a little bit more of a player approach. That's kind of how I see D'Amico. But it's gonna be interesting to see how he handles CJ. That's for sure. I mean,
absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. All supers go to the top here. All right, dude. Ty Robinson, Jahad Campbell, or Makuba. Which one do you think has the biggest impact this year on your football team?
I think it's got to be Makuba by default because I think his path to playing time is so much more clear. Now, if Jahad Campbell was healthy, the answer would be Jahad Campbell. If you're going Ty Robinson, Abe, which I knew you would, but my problem with going him for this specific question is if all goes well for Makuba, he's on the field every play. He's every play. If all goes well for Ty Robinson, he's still the third defensive tackle in the rotation, probably the fourth.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm like, impact this year, it's Makuba or Jahad. And because Jahad might be sidelined for a little bit, I'm going to go Makuba unless obviously he doesn't win the job. Then obviously it turns on its head very quickly.
Not the White Knight. I mean, right? What is the White Gorilla?
Gorilla?
Yeah.
No, I think, look, like I just said, though, that's why I won't answer. I mean, I do think he's a big impact, but you do got Jalen Carter. You do have Jordan Davis. You do have Moro Ujoma. So he's got an uphill battle for playing time.
Do you think?
That's Stevie saying Devonta Smith.
Come on, Stevie.
No, that's her. No, Stevie is telling you right now that your Terry McLaurin take was horseshit.
Yeah, in Philly it is. Around the rest of the world, it's not. Yeah. Do you think they want Ty Robinson to beat Moro Ujoma out, put him back in his normal role of being a role guy and being a swing guy? Do you think Zander, of all the guys, and I'm going to say Ty Robinson, because you know why? What if that guy turns out to be a 3-down guy? I think
he's going to be.
I do too.
I think he's going to be. You know what he reminds me of?
Who?
Miami Sileo. I'm not even kidding you.
Let me say what I talked to some folks at Nebraska, and they said that he's got great skill set to play in passing, and he sets the edge fucking great.
Yes.
He never lets his outside shoulder get exposed. He knows how to get down the line of scrimmage. And you know what they said? You're going to be so surprised how good his feet are. And I was like, well, shit, man. How come he went in the 3rd round? And they said it was because he was on a shitty team in Nebraska. Now, I'll tell you this, Zander, that does play a factor. You're at Texas, Alabama, or you're at Georgia, and you're playing around great players. Sometimes when you're not around great players, the unit drags your ass down. And they said there were a lot of people thought he was a high 2nd-round pick, and he could have went 35.
Yeah.
Somewhere there. But Nebraska hasn't been the black shirts of old. So I said, wow, so you mean to tell me he was over? I mean, that how
Matt Rule's their coach, right? I saw him in Cape May not too long ago. He got a nice big house down here.
Yeah, well, he could thank the pro job that he had That's NFL money that got him that house.
Money, that's for sure.
I'll tell you that there. But I'm going to go with this kid, Ty Robinson here, man. I'm going to go with him.
I like it. Listen, I love the player. I explained to you why I didn't pick him for your prompt, but I do love the player. I think he's going to have a great season. Jalen Carter speaking highly of the kid already. He's also, you know what I like about him is if you listen to him, I'm not sure if you listen to his first couple pressers, but kid is smart, man. Like he's a smart dude, like real smart. I mean, he's like prepped for life after football and being a doctor or so. I forget what he's going to be, but very smart guy. So I think that bodes well for Vic Fangio's defense because, you know, it relies on athleticism, but it needs you to know your way around a football field. You got to understand coverages, all different types of things in his defense. So pre-med, that's what it is. Thank you, Yale. I think he's real smart. I think it's going to be a good pick.
Now let me ask you this question here. Hey Prince, take a knee, you fucking dick. Don't worry. We'll read all these.
Don't worry, Prince. My dog was no pipsqueak. You couldn't punt my dog across a room, Prince.
Here we go.
Right?
You ready?
My dog was a big boy.
How about this one here? Who do you think won the Bryce Huff trade?
The 49ers.
Really?
Well, it depends what you're asking. The Eagles won.
I'm asking you.
The Eagles won when it's Eagles versus Eagles, if that makes sense. If you do a team versus team in this trade, the 49ers won because the Eagles used them basically to get out of this. And if you don't have that 2 to tango, you can't move on from that. So the Eagles were in a worse spot. So what I mean by Eagles versus Eagles is the Eagles used San Francisco to get out of a contract in a way that benefited both teams, right? But the Eagles lost $9 million. So you're telling me an edge rusher is playing in San Francisco and Philadelphia is paying $9 million of it. I think San Francisco won that trade. But I don't mean it in a way like it was a bad trade for the Eagles. I think it was their only way out, was why I liked the trade when it happened. Does that make sense? Or is that?
Yeah, I'm totally surprised you went down that lane, and you're right. I looked at it like this, and somebody asked me, goes, Sills, I said, isn't it yet to be determined? What if the guy fucking goes there and ends up being a colossal bust? And I still think, you know, we have to wait and see how this plays out, right? I mean, think of this here for a second. Who do you think won the Hassan Reddick trade?
That's the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And originally, Originally, you could have said it was the other way.
Is that Ty Robinson?
Oh, that they used for that pick? No, that pick's 26.
Oh, it's 26.
Remember they pushed it ahead?
So that's yet to be determined too, who they take with that. I think you're right. I think it is 26.
Yeah, it was a 26. I remember it well. It was a 26 for sure.
Yeah, and I thought there was contingency on something. If he played in percentages, it could have been like the 26. And
it was a conditional. I think it could have became a second, but he obviously barely played in New York, so we didn't get that.
So we have to wait and see yet, okay, how this thing plays out with this Huff, because if the Eagles were able to get out of this deal financially, and that kid turns out to be a shitbag out there in San Francisco, then the Eagles win that. But if that guy goes out there and gets 16 sacks and he's a factor on that team, 49ers win it. So, you know, do you think we glazed it too much here on how he got out of this deal? Because
remember the report was wrong originally. Remember how they said it was $15 million in savings this year, and it wasn't really this year. It was kind of pushed across a couple of years. So I think maybe like our original Friday reaction might have been a little bit too much, but overall, again, like I still think the sentiment or the overarching reason of why we said it was a good trade still exists. Of you made a bad move. All right. And you were paying for a guy that wasn't going to contribute to your football team. And instead of just letting it die on the vine and taking up a roster spot and costing the money into the future and some of those things, the owner, to his credit, was willing to shell the $9 million. And Howie, to his credit, was willing to be flexible, find terms that worked for another team, find a way that was a gray area where they could meet basically, and move on from the contract. By the way, we have a lot of contracts coming up. So I think it was good to get him off the books, dude. Like that, all that money off the books, all the dead crap, all the dead cap stuff is all gone. So I think from that perspective, it was a good deal, but probably not as good as like when you're like, whoa, we saved $15 million in you know what I mean? Like we didn't get that out of it. So probably a little bit of an overreaction originally, But overall, still think it was a good trade. Still think I would have made the deal. I'd say that. I mean, not that I'm.
No, I still think the structure of the deal is sensational. I'm not changing that. I think it's still sensational. All right, 2 last questions before we get to the supers. Please throw the supers up. You guys have been great at the super chats as of late. And also, please hit the like button here. How about this? So, have we yet determined, or has John or you or Jeff Kerr or anybody, what exactly is Jihad Campbell's? What's his fucking position? Who is he? Where are they going to land him at? Where to see in 5 years from now? What do you see that guy being? Who is that guy?
He's the Eagles' newest secret weapon.
What's that? A Scud missile? What is it? A new secret weapon?
Are you kidding me? It's a nuke. Are you kidding me? Eagles don't launch Scud missiles. We launch nukes out here.
Oh, that's right. Like Devonta Smith. Smith.
My God, you're not going down that road. This is what I love doing. I love making Sileo come up with a shit take, and then because he wants to be right so bad, he'll triple down on his shit take.
He's not better than that guy.
You just tripled down and called him Devonta Smith, and you even know that was a clown comment.
Devontae's not a stiff. He's not.
Devontae's a fucking stud.
He's a good player. He is. All right. Yeah, he is. So he's an inside linebacker. Is that what he is?
No, he's a joker player. He's a great day. What about Cooper DeJean for the defensive line or for the front seven? That's what I see.
Where does Cooper start the season? Is he starting in the nickel? Does he start in the slot, corner, or does he start in the safety position?
I'm still leaning that they're probably going to keep him in the slot, especially in nickel. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. He's a corner or a safety to start the season. We will see what happens there. But do you see what I'm saying with Jihad Campbell? See, look, I said that. And did you see how fast Sileo shifted gears? He's like, I got to get off this topic because this dude is so right. And I can't acknowledge that they have another Swiss Army knife, this time in the front seven of their defense.
Know this, folks.
It's agonizing, isn't it?
No,
it's agonizing.
Guys, remember what Big Sills told you guys about 2 months ago? The Eagles look at players differently than every other organization in football. They don't look at a guy playing, and is he a good pass rusher like a guy like a Micah Parsons? Can you play 3 downs and can you be versatile? That's their definition. That's when a guy like Devonta Smith is on the field and he's not on the field, you don't notice him if he's not on the field. You need to have a guy where you notice who's on the field at all times when he's there, like A.J. Brown. When that guy's not on the field, you know it. Because
you're the statistician.
Not on the field, you don't know it. You don't even know if he's playing.
Because you're the statistician, I have a question for you. Because you are the statistician.
You see, folks, you get paid on how good you are as a player.
All right, I get it. Ready? If Joe Burrow was your quarterback, all right, let's live in fairy tale land. Joe Burrow is your quarterback.
Yes.
All right. You would take, and you have a choice of receiver, Devonta Smith or Terry McLaurin.
Oh, yeah.
You would take Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, over him, sure.
Oh, what a bad move.
I would take Terry McLaurin.
What a bad move.
Absolutely.
Devonta Smith has perfect hands, and he gets separation from everybody.
I'm not saying he's bad. I am not. I'm saying.
All right, so I asked you what Terry does better, and you said he's a 1. That's not what he does.
He takes on the best guys that cover in every game that he plays against. He plays against corner 1. Your boy doesn't. He takes on the second best dude in the room. That's who he takes on.
That's fair. That's not
when you play against the best guy like AJ Brown plays the best guy every Sunday. So does Terry. Takes on the best dude.
I know you wouldn't.
You know what your guy does?
If I hooked you up with a
polygraph,
you would not take Terry. I can see on your face. I know you now, Stills. We've been doing this for 5 years.
No. I love the kid.
You're not. You are sticking to your guns. If I put you on a polygraph, you're taking Smith.
Oh my God. What are you crazy here? Of course I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, man.
Nah, dude,
listen, I think Devontae's a really good ball player. Listen to this. Do I think he's better than T. Higgins? I do. I think you're going to sleep on McLaurin.
No, dude. That's why they're not paying him. He's a 2.
Oh, who says they're not gonna?
Let's see what they do.
That's right. Let's see what they do.
They got the geriatric team. They're like 33 average age over there, man.
Hey, that's right. Keep taking on them third best wide corners.
You better hope that this Jaden Daniels kid is always cracked up to be post year 1. We've had a lot of 1 year wonders.
I'm not the only one that thinks he's a great player.
I think he's a great player. I think he's a great player.
All right, Terry, let's read the supers.
Who you calling, Terry? Call me Smitty. Call me Smitty.
I'll tell you what I did love when he won the Heisman Trophy, Zander, Devonta Smith.
You ain't seen Terry McLaurin win no fucking Heisman, my friend.
Oh, I don't even remember A.J. Brown in fucking college.
Yeah, that's right. He went to Ole Miss. Old shit.
How much throwing of the ball do you think they did down there? Dude, AJ
is a couple of years back before they had.
You know what, though, dude? Think about it. AJ's been a fucking physical wide receiver since the Southeastern Conference.
AJ, I think AJ is the best receiver in football. I would take AJ Brown. I'm not saying Jamar's not right there and Justin's not right there, but I would take AJ Brown over everybody. Too. I just prefer a physical player, like that. Now, I will say this. It's probably 1A, 1B with Jamar for me because Jamar is very in your face. Like, he is not afraid of any. I love that about him. He's a very go-getter type of receiver. So I'll say 1A, 1B with Jamar.
Hey, how was he at Ole Miss? Do you remember? I mean, what kind
I don't think he did too much. I mean, that was pre-Lane Kiffin when he was there and stuff. That was like a while back. That was who was there? Was it Hugh Freeze? Was it?
I think it was Freeze.
Freeze, that's right. Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
Let me look.
I mean, like, did he ever get a grand there? I don't remember him when he was at Ole Miss.
Wow, he's the all-time leading receiver in Ole Miss history.
I'm sorry. I mean, no disrespect. I didn't.
Ole Miss career leader in receiving yards with 2,984. He's also the career leader in 100-yard receiving games at Ole Miss with 12. Wow. So 2018 Maxwell Award watch list. What's that?
What was his best year?
Let me look at his stats. Probably his junior year.
He had
1,320 yards and 85.
Wow. I don't even know the quarter. I don't even remember the quarterback down there that time. Was it that Kelly's brother? Jim Kelly's his nephew or his brother?
Was it Matt Corral?
Was it?
Oh my God, it might have been Matt Corral. Yo, I got a question for JAKIB Nation. All right, and I don't know how many of you guys were here. You will be proven to be a real JAKIB OG if you remember this person. Does anybody remember the Matt Corral dude that in our chat would come in here every day for months and say, draft Matt Corral? Who remembers that guy? Does anybody remember him? This was 3-4 years ago.
I think he's in the UFL.
Easy money. That's it. That was it.
Easy money.
Where did that guy go? He was the funniest chatter. He disappeared after the draft. Disappeared because Corral dropped to like the 3rd round.
Yeah, he sure did, man. He had Matt Corral there when he had 1,300 yards. Now, when he came out, that has to be in the time of Jefferson and them dudes, right? When he came out of college, didn't he come out around the time of Jefferson?
Yeah, I think.
All right, let's get to some more of these supers here, man.
All right. Amwan says, Sills, stop it, Sills, please. Hey, Amwan, that's all we can do today is laugh. We all know Terry's not better than
only in Philly is Devonta Smith better than Terry McLaurin. No, nobody on the planet would say
it's just
that.
Not true.
It is true.
Devonta Smith is a superior talent, dude.
You know what?
Superior. You can say Terry's been more productive. Devonta is superior.
And his quarterbacks were Sam Howell and 1 year with Jay.
Well, that's true. But I mean, Devonta.
What do you think Devonta's gonna do with Sam fucking Howell?
Again, you talk about talent a lot, and we talk about this with quarterbacks, and it's easy to say Joe Burrow, Josh Allen are more talented quarterbacks than a guy like Jalen Hurts, who went in the 2nd round, didn't have the traits. Same conversation here. Devonta Smith has superior traits to Terry McLaurin. Yes, he does, dude.
He does really not. Nobody thinks that.
It's really not close.
It's really not. I completely agree.
I don't think it's close.
I
Sean
don't
says,
either. I don't
fellas,
either.
did Scary Terry break the rookie record against CB1s like Smitty?
CB1 on that 9-8 football team. I remember.
Wait, everybody
matched.
Everybody still said to me.
He's like the 20th ranked wide receiver.
The wide receiver one. That's like saying Devonta was the wide receiver one with Jalen Reagor.
He's like the 20th ranked wideout in football right now, 17th.
Because wait, what was our running game again? Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's why the receiver sucked last year.
JD, he didn't suck last year.
Injury, and because
he didn't suck last year.
Guys ran the ball.
He had it. Wait.
I'm sure those numbers will improve this year.
Second. I think if I remember correctly,
I'm sure those numbers will improve.
Devonta Smith had about a 50-yard touchdown in the Super Bowl. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that was Devonta. That wasn't Terry because he got walked off the field and gave up.
Keep taking pay cuts, son.
Quinyon Mitchell had an interception in that NFC title game when they were
taking pay cuts.
When they were going to Terry.
I can promise you, when that pay comes in, he'll be $35 million.
Terry McStiffler. That's what he is now.
$35 million.
Terry McStiffler. JD3 says, I think Vic will have 3 linebacker sets when Dean and Campbell get healthy. Dean will be middle, then Bond Campbell at edge linebacker, and the other off-ball linebacker.
Zander, don't you think what I said earlier? This might be a silver lining, the injuries. Isn't this how you build depth? I mean, Trotter's going to get more reps. The kid from Georgia's going to get more reps. Then when you get Dean and JAKIB Campbell back, isn't that like getting free agents? Hell, you might by the end of the day have the best linebacking room in the building.
Maybe.
Because you created more depth by giving opportunity to these other guys.
Yeah, that's true. You mean when everybody gets healthy,
when everyone gets healthy, you created depth with these guys.
Let's see how they do, though. If they fall on their face, it ain't depth, right? But we'll see. All right. Here we go. Scott Squad says, I'm an Eagles fan, but Smitty is overrated. Scott Squad, to the corner. To the cut corner you go. Sit. You're in timeout. Don't make another comment until I tell you can get out. Scott Squad, sit down and shut up, Scott Squad.
Scott, great take, but he's not overrated. Thank you for the super, my friend.
Scott, you shut up. Shh.
Scott, thank you, Scott.
Falcon Korsky says, the reason I ripped Tomlin so much is because he had Roethlisberger for 15 years, but Cowher for much of his time had QBs like O'Donnell and Stewart, but still won playoff games. He's actually right about this.
Yeah, but again, look at how the Eagles pivoted it off of Carson Wentz and how fast they pivoted, and they were able to build a football team around a quarterback. Again, they did the right thing by building around the quarterback, and they have a better team, and it took them 18 months to do it. I mean, the Steelers haven't had an exit plan with Roethlisberger, Zander in 5 years. I mean, Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, that's not an exit plan.
Sounds like you got to call. Sounds like you got to call up the GM that you know over there and say, "What the fuck are you doing?" But they got Aaron now, so let's see what they do.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, I'm with you. JD3, Joe Krause said on a 2-minute drill when Ty got picked and said the Eagles got their version of Dan Sileo. That's right. I remember that, JD3. Maybe that's where I got that from. Maybe he works out.
Yeah, he will.
Could Big Sills stop the run?
Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Big Sills was tremendous at the run.
Could Big Sills rush the passer?
Yeah.
Was Big Sills violent at the point of attack?
Yeah.
Was Big Sills fundamental with his feet and his hands?
Tremendous feet.
Ty Robinson is Big Sills Jr.
Yeah, I was a complete ball player, man.
Big Sills reincarnated, baby.
But but one thing, I hope he's not a head case size I am.
Yeah, right. That's why when we went to getting all this pre-med and stuff, Sills. I'm not sure. He might not be Big Sills in that.
Yeah, I hope he's smarter than me.
Prince Swayze says a large man with a small dog should be examined closely.
And as you know, Prince, don't always judge the dog by the size. You judge the dog by the man and the dog himself, bitch.
The fight. You judge it by the fight in the dog. So
yeah, you judge it by the fight in the dog, Junior. What the fuck do you know about fighting, Prince?
Prince,
I hate some of the worst takes in the history of mankind.
I hate to do it to you, but I might agree with Prince, man. You see these big dudes walking around the block, and they got their dogs. These dogs on the end of the leash. Like, it looks like you could just hold it by the leash.
Dog, man.
I'm not shitting on your dog. I'm just saying, hey, maybe Prince has a point. Now, maybe you're the exception and not the rule.
I'm gonna name my dog Terry McLaurin.
Oh God,
it's a dog.
Terry, I'll name mine Smitty. Prince says, I believe the snow affected the Rams game significantly. They improved, but before the snow, I watched the game again and it wasn't close.
What do you think? Well, because they.
Well, I mean, it affected both teams.
They're a dome team.
Yeah.
Xander, like you said, dome teams going outside in Philly.
I think he had 300 plus passing yards that game.
Did.
I'm not buying that one too much, Prince. Kyle says, could Bucks be a dark horse team? I think close, but I don't think contender. I think playoff team. Yeah, I don't think contender.
Their linebackers, believe it or not, Levante David and Antonio Winfield. Do you know that was one of the worst units? Both of them, they were some of the worst units in pass coverage and also in playing the run in football. They were fourth against the rush, Xander, but they were terrible against the pass. And they've got to improve on that side of the football if they're going to be a contender. I think they win that South, but I don't know if they're going to be in the room with the Rams, Detroit, and Washington.
Sorry, I was having flashbacks of Terry McLaurin getting locked down by Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, I was having flashbacks of goose eggs by Devonta Stiff. I mean,
Smith. Not on my bingo card for your worst take of the offseason to be a love take for Terry McLaurin. A guy who sincerely underachieved as a wide receiver.
It's only the worst take yards in Philly. Do you understand that, folks? Nobody on the planet thinks he's better. Nobody thinks he's better than the guy in Washington.
I'm on the planet. I think he is.
I said outside of Philly.
Stephen Mosteller says, can I get some of what Big Stat Sills is smoking?
Hey, guy, Steven, once again.
Statistician.
Remember this. Statisticians get you paid. How you doing? Direct deposits.
Devontae Smith's paid. Jalen Hurts is paid. Saquon Barkley's paid. Lane Johnson's paid. Jordan Mailata is paid. Landon Dixon's paid. Ken Jurgens is paid.
Those guys all deserve it.
Zach paid.
Hey, those guys all deserve it. Well, how do these other guys on stiff teams end up making $35 million like C?
Question for you. Joshua Uche got 10 sacks. He's making minimum.
Who's that? He's
making minimum. Guy had double
trash. He's the guy that takes the mail.
Uche
trash out.
Stats are not everything.
About top flight guys here.
Stats are everything on the National Football Show.
You know what Uche is? Joshua Uche's a hand-me-down bag.
Here we go. Sills, you don't think every team will stack the box, regardless if their run D is good or not? They'd be stupid not to sell it to stop the run 1-versus-1 for AJ.
It won't matter. They tried that shit last year. Kansas City tried that. You're too good in the O-line. You're too good.
Spurger says Pittsburgh and Cleveland are converting their fields into shuffleboard. Wait, add the communist into that because that's the geriatric department too, outside the quarterback.
Xander's praying that the Commanders take a step back. He thinks
I'm not praying for shit. I know they're going to.
Cliff Kingsbury did not leave. They got all their coordinators back and they added.
Pray for shit. I'm not praying for it.
The Eagles won't make steps back because they lost players, but the Commanders will, right? All right.
Scott Squad says, pick a wide receiver, AJ or Smitty, money not a factor. Well, I didn't say he was better than AJ.
Oh, come, dude. AJ's the best. My opinion, if there's one wide receiver, Xander, I don't know who you would take. If you were to tell me the type of offense I wanted and the guy that I wanted in my offense, believe it or not, I would take this dude right here because he blocks in the run game and he catches. And when he runs that slant, nobody can get that guy down on yards after catch. He is a really good football. Hey, Xander, I'm shocked on how great he's turned out to be since he was.
Remember the homework I gave you.
Yeah, you know the homework.
I'll even send you the link. I'll even do the searching for you.
I don't need to watch a second guy. I watch ones. I don't break down who's the second best number 2 on the team. I don't do that. I watch guys who are the number 1 dudes. So if you're ever going to give me a homework assignment, make sure you're talking about the best dudes in the huddle, not the second or third best guy in the huddle. Come on now, Junior. You know me better than that. Hey, why don't you break down the best number 2s? I don't think so. I'm going to talk about the best number 1s. Right. Come on, man.
Yeah, you take Terry McLaurin. I'll wipe the floor with your team. McLaurin is not that good.
I know. He's no good. He stinks. This guy had Sam Brown.
If AJ Brown were in Washington, what would Terry
this guy had a stiff and Sam Howell throwing him the ball, and this guy still put up numbers.
Speaking of number 1s, great strategy there, Abe. Speaking of number 1s, where is he ranked amongst the number 1s? Probably bottom of the barrel. Probably bottom of the barrel.
I just gave him to you. PFF has him ranked right now. They just came out the wide receiver list.
I'd take the fucking Panthers number 1.
17th, and Terry McLaurin's 10th.
I would take the Tetster McMillan over him, dude. I'm just
fucking guy from Arizona.
I'm just kidding. All right, I'm kidding. All right, let me get out of here. We got Jason Cole coming up.
Texter fucking.
Wait a second. Wait. Scott's quiet. You're still in timeout, Scott. In 2 years, they're going to try and trade AJ. Yeah, and then Devonta will be the number 1.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out.
All right, Sills. Thank you, brother.
Hey, brother. A lot of fun, man. You guys are killing it on that show. Keep it up, bro. Talk to you soon.
You, see you guys.
You got it. Absolutely great. Yeah, I got to write that down. Hey, you know what? I'm going to ask Jason Cole this question. I'm going to ask him this question here in a second. By the way, make sure you guys get over to Amazon. Paralyzed to Power. Robert Paler. His book's out there for you.